Hey, what's up, Walking Dead fans? We're here at AfterBuzz TV. Are you ready to talk about Stradivarius? Because we are. Episode 7, Season 9. We're discussing Hilltop, Daryl and Carol's Buddy Top, transportation of Take 5. We got a lot more. Don't go away.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
And we're here with the strings.
Yes, get those strings going. Hey, man.
Love it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. We are here at Walking Dead After Show.
Yes.
Oh my God, we're back. Episode 7, Season 9. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of things went down. Can't wait to get into it. But first, my name is Danny Royce. We have a smaller panel today, but I am joined by the lovely April.
Hey, everybody. I'm April Whisenhant. We're in chat. We want to know what you thought about the episode because we have so much to talk about. We know y'all do too, so let us know.
A lot went down. We're going to discuss some things that happened in Hilltop, the transportation of what I call Take 5.
I like
the
it.
new group. Daryl and Carol, they spent some quality time together.
Yes.
I love seeing that again. And we're going to go into some special segment of our kill for the episode and some predictions and some news and gossip. So stay tuned for that. So let's get straight into it. Stradivarius. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, I had no idea when I saw the title of the show.
Right, I had no idea. But what were your overall thoughts about it?
Yeah, I liked it because it's, doing some building for us right now. They're showing us, I like that they're showing us the different aspects of every community minus, I guess, the kingdom as of right now. But of course, I always loved seeing Daryl and Carol reunite, and I especially love seeing him get a haircut tonight. But it's one of those episodes that we have to appreciate because it's not the action-packed craziness that we typically like the most, but it's a type of episode that's important because it's gonna teach us a lot of things, and we get to see a lot of things that we have been like, what the heck is going on right now.
Right. Exactly. I thought it was a great episode in the sense of we learned a lot, and there was a lot to take in emotionally and all that. But like you said, it was kind of a little slower. It wasn't as action-packed, but that's totally fine because we need some of those episodes too, right?
Yes.
So Hilltop, Jesus. What is going on with Jesus?
Jesus is the HBIC right now.
He is.
And he has temporarily replaced Maggie.
Right.
That's my number one question for you coming into tonight is, or was, I should say, do you like the explanation of where Maggie is? Or are you just kind of like, wow, that's a really good cop-out that you just did right there?
Right. Well, I guess we'll talk about a little bit more in predictions or news and gospel later on as well. But yeah, I was looking for a little more. I was like, Maggie's such a prominent character. And I just wanted to get a little more of the story of why she left and what's going on with that. But they touched on it very lightly. Yeah. It was okay.
Well, me for a second, I was like, obviously we see him reading this letter that the twins brought to him earlier. And we know that the twins are, I guess, in the posse of this character, Georgie who they told us Maggie's with tonight. And we've only seen Georgie, once in season 8. And that's it.
Yeah.
And she was just there offering a trade, like, here's food and knowledge, give us your music.
Right.
So she wants to, spread the culture. But I was kind of like, I wish, we knew this was coming. And, of course, the writers have to do it in a way that Maggie could very easily come back next season because, like we said last week, we've been told that she's not coming back for this season.
Right.
I never believe anything that The Walking Dead says until we're at the final episode of the season. But I don't know. But I did want a little more because it was kind of just like, here's a letter from Maggie. She's doing great.
She's doing awesome.
She is not here.
Right.
So yeah, but also I liked seeing Jesus in charge a little bit.
Yeah, I did too. I guess in charge or lack thereof, I'm not sure. Which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I enjoyed the kind of suspense they put around Maggie's disappearance, not disappearance, but how she left. Yeah. Just getting these letters, so no one really knows where she is or what she's doing other than Jesus and anyone else that reads the letters, which I don't think there's anyone else at this moment.
That's a good point.
So I like the suspense they're putting around it, but I'm like, just give me a little bit, a little bit more.
Exactly. So we know Sadiq knows, this is later in the episode, but when he says like, oh, Maggie's somewhere far away with Georgie, but I don't know. There, you know, the other question that I have is like, why Michonne didn't want to go because Maggie was there.
I was thinking about that too.
I know that happens later, but that I didn't necessarily understand when they're on their way to Hilltop and they're like, you don't have to worry, Maggie's not there. Sadiq says that to Michonne. Does that happen because of like how it ended with Negan? I don't think so.
I don't think so, because
clearly
I was also
something had to have gone down.
Yeah, I was also thinking about that, and like something's, it's not that bad, like the whole thing with Negan. So it had to be something more. And maybe that pushed Maggie to leave in the first place.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, you can have Hilltop.
That's true.
Like, I don't know. But then going to Hilltop, Jesus, like, how do you feel about his leadership skills and what's going on with that?
Well, you know, he clearly doesn't like being the leader very much. But the thing that I appreciate about him being the leader, and that I kind of knew I always would, or probably that all of us always would have, is that he has that little aspect of Rick in that he wants to keep everybody together. Everybody meaning Kingdom, Hilltop, Alexandria. You know, they keep talking about this fair that the Kingdom's doing and how he wants Hilltop to be a part of it and he wants Alexandria to be a part of it. So that's the thing that I think he's probably doing best as a leader is, you know, going off and training Aaron with his freaking like, I don't know, armor of whatever. He literally has a metal arm.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
So he is doing a good job of trying to keep the communities in communication, which is important because they could, you know, potentially make a huge thing, even though they're separate. But they seem to be thriving. You know, you have, I was reading something earlier that says at this point, the Hilltop is like the mecca of culture between the three different communities, because they have a man who's like riding a bike that powers a laundry thing, and they have, you know, we see him obviously listening to records that Georgie, I use air quotes because Georgie's very mysterious, that he let her borrow, and they, you know, they have all of this food, they have, you know, a smith there, and so they seem to kind of be thriving. So he must be doing something right.
He must be doing something. Yeah, I mean, they're very industrialized, but I think also, I mean, that's a good sense where he's trying to like put everyone together and trying to build these different communities, because you're right, they could essentially be one big community, but I don't think that would work very well. No. But I think also he is like leaving a little, you know, his responsibility as a leader behind, and taking that step where it's like, you know, he's trying to be the old Jesus, and you can't be the old Jesus because you're leader of Hilltop. You're new Jesus.
Can't be the OG Jesus.
Right. Can't be the OG. You gotta, you know, and he's like, you know, you have to step in those shoes of Maggie, and it's hard for him to do at this point.
That's true.
And I just see it as a issue moving forward. Even when he told, what was it, Aaron? No, I'm sorry.
Tara.
Tara. That he would stay, he didn't, you know, and he took the first opportunity to leave. So I don't know, with that being said, I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point that I hadn't thought about, though. And it, you know, clearly, according to what we saw on the show, Jesus was the natural person to appoint as the leader when Maggie left. But I mean, you made a good point. He doesn't necessarily, he wants to be doing the stuff that he's always been doing. Like, he's part of the reason why these communities are all together in the first place. He discovered, you know, other people, meaning Rick, I guess, and their group. But he doesn't necessarily want to be the cooped up, you know, Gregory or Maggie. He wants to do other things. So Tara seems to be doing a good job of kind of being like his backup, his assistant. And so there always has to be a person that's kind of with everything to be able to run it while the main person's gone. But it seems like as soon as somebody gets the job, they want to run away.
Exactly.
I mean, Maggie was there for a good while, but it's like just when you get this back, and when Negan, you know, the Negan issue is solved, not solved, but solved right
now.
Yeah, exactly. You leave to go with Georgie to potentially, you know, whatever they're doing. She asked them she and Maggie and Jesus earlier in the season were talking about a proposition from Georgie
exactly,
to go out and find other civilizations and things like that. So we have to assume, obviously, that that's what she's doing.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like as soon as someone gets a job, they want to leave.
It's crazy how what Tara is like reading off everything.
Yeah.
And she's like a complaint in trailer 7 or noise complaint. I'm like, really? We still got that?
With the kazoo? He's like, why would you give a kid a kazoo?
It's a kazoo. Get over it.
But that's the whole thing about their culture.
Right.
Now they're doing all of this stuff because also one of the things I was reading earlier, and it has a lot to do with tonight's episode, is that they're definitely at the point of, okay, at least the Hilltop anyway, let's say. Okay, we're doing well. We're, we have all of this stuff we're building. We have food, I'm just obsessed with the laundry thing. We have a way to do laundry now. So it's like we have a way to live. So now what are we living for in these times of like being so whatever? And we know, of course, that Alexandria and the kingdom are thriving as well, according to, last week's episodes. But I'm just talking about the Hilltop since that's what we saw. So it's kind of like, it almost seems like they're starting to get slightly back toward real life.
Yeah, accustomed to this, yeah.
But, I mean, we know that's not going to last very long.
They're definitely growing as a civilization. But also, what's growing? AfterBuzz is always growing, and April has a little message for you, AfterBuzzers.
I sure do. Hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite television shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there's no network that works harder to service television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us to be the ESPN of TV Talk.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thanks, April.
Of course.
Go ahead and give us 5 stars. 5 stars. If you're nasty, we love you. Go ahead and shout us out. And do we have anything going on in the chat?
We have some interesting comments right now.
Interesting. I like that.
Rosalinda Mendez says, I've never shipped anyone in this show. What, Rosalinda? Never? Okay. But I'm ready for a Jesus-Aaron relationship.
You know what? I'm not going to lie.
The same thing?
I'm not going to lie. I was like, what are they meeting up in the woods?
Oh, my word. The second, did you think something happened whenever Aaron jumps on Jesus on the horse? I knew it was fake as soon as I saw it.
Exactly. Yeah, when I saw who it was, I was like, okay, that's fake. But I was like, I didn't get the whole training thing until a little bit. Yeah.
Until they started laughing.
Right.
One of the things that I was reading earlier actually said the same thing. They're like, without people going crazy on me, because these are the only 2 gay characters as far as we know anyway on the show right now.
Right.
For just being like, oh, because they're gay, they should be together. I think Aaron and Jesus should be together.
Oh, man.
Because it does. Jesus has a very fatherly type vibe. I don't mean like a stern, but he's very wise. Mm-hmm. People go to him for a lot of stuff. And, we know Aaron obviously has Gracie, and I don't know. It's
just, anything's possible in the Walking Dead world. Yes. But I think I love both their characters. They got great hearts, great guys. So I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens.
We'll see. And then Nova S says, "Are we ever going to get the backstory of what happened between the communities?" I think we will. But
yeah. I think it's going to unravel after a couple episodes. I don't think we're going to get it all.
No, it's probably going to be multiple
It's going to be, yeah, I would say, yeah. Definitely. I will start to see a little bit more, especially the Whispers coming in. I can't wait for that. I'm so excited for that. Where are they?
I know.
I'm like, oh, God.
Creepers.
All right. Well, Carol and Henry. Man, Henry. I can't. Well, they mosey across their good old friend Daryl.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see Daryl again.
I know. I know I said it earlier, but I'm so happy Carol gave him the haircut.
Right.
Because I'm like, I need to see your beautiful face, Norman Reedus. So let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, and Karen asks him, how long has it been since you ate? She should ask how long it's been since you showered, because, man, Daryl looked pretty rough there.
Yeah, he did. By some of the stuff that she said to him, I think we briefly touched on this last week. Mm-hmm. we were like, has he been in the woods the whole time? You know, we can guess after tonight's episode, we know that he has been in the woods.
For sure.
And like I said, I like the fact that Rick's departure affected Daryl so much to the point that he, for years and years and years, went looking for his body. And even tonight when he said, like, you know, I never found a body, you could just see the hurt and the pain in him. And so I always like when they, you know, do a character's departure justice. And
yeah, of course.
To me, it was like nothing was going to give Rick what he deserved, but I actually think they're doing a pretty okay job with, like, still touching on it, but plus, you know, I mean, we're only 2 episodes in without him being here.
Of course,
but,
yeah.
The fact that at least, like, Daryl is how he is. A lot of people hated that he's been in the woods for so long, but I kind of like it.
Yeah,
it's like Daryl getting back to Daryl.
To his original roots, right. Yeah. And then how he was originally when we first met Daryl.
Yeah.
Squirrel hunting, you know.
Hanging ears from his neck.
But every character is dealing with Rick's departure differently. You know, it's nice to see that. Like, Michonne is, like, literally talking to him, and Carl, like, having full conversations, and you know, you see Judith, like, just trying to live on Rick's legacy through whatever she does. And, you know, Carol seems like she's moved on, but, you know, she has her things going on.
She
and
has a son now. She has
a son, a husband. She's moved on. You know, better. But Daryl just kind of cut off. But my thing, my question to you is: do you think he's still looking for Rick, even though he said he wasn't?
Yeah.
You think he's still?
I think he'll always be looking for him. I don't think I feel like every walker that he sees, he's thinking, "Is it Rick?" Like, or he's looking at their face to see if it's Rick. And I kind of expected that from him. Look at who they've gone and, you know, they spent the entire first season looking for Carol's daughter.
Right.
They've spent loads of time looking for other people, literally just the zombie version of themselves. So I'm not surprised by it. I am surprised, you know, it's been 6 years. That's a heck of a long time.
That is a long time.
To kind of be by yourself. And that's how, you know, Carol kind of gets him tonight with stuff, because Daryl, over anything, he does kind of become a recluse. You know, he's done it in other parts of the show as well, but kind of getting the inspiration to get back into society is typically always comes about for him by helping someone that he that genuinely needs help. But of course he's gonna put up a fight about it.
Of course. I mean, you see how he did, you know, with Merle, his brother. He didn't stop looking for him until he found him or found him dead.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna do the same thing with Rick. But you know, it has been 6 years. It's a long time. But, you know, speaking about Carol, what do you think about her request of Daryl? You think that was fair, asking him to watch Henry and do all that?
You know, yes and no. But I think yes, because she knows, okay, it's been a long time. Let's get you back into society. Also, because Daryl, I think probably even more than Ezekiel, is the person that she trusts without a doubt. And it's clear that she's, you know, let Henry know that. He says in that, like, sweet little moment that he and Daryl are having, he's like, I know you're my mom's best friend and you've protected her and yada, yada, yada. But I think that it was unfair in the sense of, like, it is asking a lot.
That is.
Like, Daryl's place hasn't been at the Hilltop, and now he's going to go to the Hilltop and be with these people that he, you know, hasn't been with for so long. Now, we do have Tara there. And, well, it doesn't matter because they're off on a mission now anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he wasn't there long.
Yeah. But so I think it's unfair in that sense.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I did. I thought it was unfair to ask him at that stage just of his life, just because of he's still grieving, like you see it. And he's in his own zone. But then in a way I was thinking, like, okay, Carol is actually doing an amazing favor for him, getting him out of that, giving him a reason to get out, and saying, here is this kid, let's pretty much shape him to live in this future that's coming. So I think, like you said, you know, it was a great move for him to get back into kind of society. Yeah. Because, he was skinning snakes and doing, like, he was doing a lot. And
he was. At least he had his dog left.
He had his dog, I was like, that he just called dog.
Dog. But that's an obedient dog.
It is. He
got on
trained
his
him.
motorcycle. He's like, "Rrr," the dog came running.
But to find a stray dog like that and train them that well, that's awesome.
That is.
Like, come on, Daryl, come through.
I got worried for a second when the dog got caught in the trap.
Yeah. See, I didn't understand that at first. I didn't know if Daryl had set those traps or someone else set those. And but then I saw that Daryl
that he caught the rabbit with, right?
Yeah. So he set a whole bunch of traps, even for walkers. He was just trying to keep walkers out. But I'm like, how do you get caught in there?
I don't know, but I mean, it set up a good moment for Daryl to be rescued by a kid.
Yes, which is talked about next. Yeah, Henry rescuing Daryl. What was your overall thoughts about that?
I mean, I always think Daryl would have just been fine by himself, but I think that
he thought so too.
Yes, I think that with Henry saving him, that's what really kind of opened it up to be like, okay, this is something legitimate. Like this kid just saved me. If he wouldn't have been there, like I would be dead.
No, I was like, Daryl, no.
I would have been dead. My dog would be dead. Everything. So I think it actually, obviously it ended up being a good thing because it's what is going to bring him out of, living in the woods.
Right.
But Henry, he just doesn't learn though.
Henry needs to get an ass whooping. I'm sorry. He just needs to.
It scares me for him. Everyone in our comments last week, they're like, Henry's a kid. He's a teenager. This. And I'm like, yes, he's a teenager.
Yes.
But Daryl made a great point in the beginning. It just scares me for him a little bit.
Right.
Without, being too prediction-y. It scares me for him. And I think that's why Daryl said, like, when he was originally saying no to Carol, he's like, he's got to learn just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
That's my best Daryl impression.
You got to learn.
Yeah, you got to learn.
Nope. You got to learn.
But the things that people tell him not to do, he typically always does.
Right. He has no sense of danger, no sense of caution.
Yeah.
Like
kind of like Daryl.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Well, Daryl is also very skilled, but yeah. So he's trying to live like these people he see.
Yeah.
Like he sees all these adults, handling situations certain ways, but you can't do it like that because you're not there yet.
Exactly.
You're not trained yet. You're not. And even Ezekiel letting him, go and do his thing, it was great.
Yeah.
And it's like this, when you have a father like Ezekiel, I mean, you're going to want to try to prove everything.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what he's constantly doing, just proving himself, trying to be the hero and all that. But I don't know. I don't see a happy future for Henry.
I don't either. I think it worked out tonight, and it worked out for a reason. But if he keeps along the same path, like obviously it's not.
Because we've seen it before, and we've seen it plenty of times in The Walking Dead.
More than I like to remember.
Right.
But I did like the sweet moment where they're talking about things.
Yeah,
and
that was
how Daryl has done things and why he's doing things the way that he is, and a little bit of the history between he and Carol. I liked that.
Yeah, I like that too.
And I'm glad that Henry was there to save Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
And I do actually think it's smart that they're taking him to the Hilltop to be trained because, I mean, I don't know how old he is exactly, but let's say early teenage years, he does need to start doing something. Think about like the olden days, real life. People started working and learning trades and whatever when they were young because that's when they had to. So it's almost like civilization starting over again. So time to get to work, Henry.
Get to blacksmith.
Exactly.
With that being said, I want to talk about Take 5.
I love that you call them Take 5.
I don't know why, it just came to me. I'm like, but I actually like this group. It's a very diverse group, and I'm not saying just ethnically. I'm talking about everything, like skills, everything. But it's a great group. So we have Luke and Magna. What are your thoughts about this group and how they're forming?
Yeah, they just keep reminding me of Rick and his group from the beginning. Obviously, of course, they're different, but it's like you have the voice of reason, and you have the person that's like, no, we need all of our weapons. Like, she's like Daryl to me, except a little more, obviously, leadership type. Not that Daryl's not, but more outspoken and whatever. Yumiko is kind of the voice of reason. Then you have Luke, who's like, but he serves a purpose. Obviously, he serves a big purpose in tonight's episode because it's like he's bringing that culture aspect. He saves all of these musical instruments. I'm like, how do you have places to carry that? Shouldn't you be carrying food and weapons?
It's so, you know what? It's funny because like I was like so on his side. I'm so on Luke's side just because art is, you know, what keep this the one language that the whole world has.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
and
true.
I was just like, you have to keep that. You have to like, you know, just save what you can because he's like the only musician, like musical teacher that they have.
Well, that we've ever seen on the show.
Yeah, that we ever seen. So I definitely see them like using him in the future just to kind of like maybe teach the children, maybe, you know, whatever. Keep him, but he does know how to fight, so that's good.
Ish.
A little bit, ish.
Yeah, he's not
he's
the
smart.
best, but he knows how to.
The whole door, the car door thing, that was legitimate.
That was good. That was good. I think the reason why I say he's going to play a big role is because, you know, the fact that they named the episode after the little
exactly
Stradivarius. I'm gonna say guitar thing, but more like a mandolin,
ukulele
banjo,
type
ukulele
thing. Yeah.
type thing. Whatever. I just said every instrument.
You did.
Whatever.
One of those.
The fact that they named the episode off of that to me means a lot because you know, like they're giving us these little tidbits of hints everywhere with Jesus training Aaron and them talking about the fair with the kingdom and Alexandria, you know, joining in or they want Alexandria to join in. The thing that and this is like very not The Walking Dead-ish to talk about things like this, but the thing that brings a lot of people together is music, and culture. And so I think that's where they're trying to take us, at least for right now. So I think it's going to be way more important than just, you know, oh, I happen to be a music teacher. I think it's actually going to like have some substance to it.
Right, I agree. And it's interesting, like Walking Dead has become a history lesson. And so we're seeing civilization start again and like how we would actually do things to restart everything. It's totally interesting. But so Michonne decides not to go further to Hilltop. And she wants Take 5 to go with no weapons.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about that? Were you that was fair at all?
I mean, it's like at what point is enough?
Right.
But she did make a good point. Like, think about when they've, you know, when I say they, I mean like Michonne, Rick, the group, the main group, when they've gone up to new communities, all their weapons were taken. You know, this isn't something new, and they were taken for, you know, a good reason. At one point, Rick was like totally off his rocker and would have just murdered everyone if he had his weapons.
Right.
So I get it. Like at some point, sure, they get their weapons back, but their weapons were gonna go with Sadiq and DJ. So it's not like she's like, okay, we're stealing your weapons. Right. Good luck.
Bye, guys.
They were going to go with them, but I'm like, what's the big deal? You're going the rest of the way. You're going to ride like you've been riding this whole time. So what does it matter? I honestly didn't get why it was such like a, oh my God, what?
Well, for me, I would have been a little on edge just because like, okay, so you have Michonne that's promising everything that's like, okay, we're going to take you to this awesome place. And yet you're not going to see to it that you're like that we get there.
Like
and
she said she would.
Like she said she would. And then she's like, okay, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
So I'll be a little sketch. You know, I'm like, okay, does this place actually exist? Is she lying? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because they don't know Michelle.
No.
I mean, Michonne said Michelle. And the no weapons and they get raided at the what was that, like a barn, right? Or was that? No. Was that?
Talking about when they went up to their rig?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where they make this, or that's where they're going as their first stop. Is
the
to their
first stop
rig,
to the rig.
To the Take 5 rig.
There you go. We call it Take 5 rig.
Yeah. Oh gosh, sorry. So that they see that they've been raided by a herd, or like, you know,
exactly, and
exterminated essentially by a herd. And that's kind of where Michonne's like, oh, okay, never mind. This is where I stop. But yes, what you're saying, of course, it makes sense. But then it's like, you know, that's what everyone's had to do. Everyone's had to just trust or whatever. And I think the thing that would have gotten me, and I think it's the thing that got them and made them move on without their weapons, for now anyway, is because of her saying, it's not like she's like, you're going to the Hilltop or else.
Right.
Like, you are here and that's your only option. She's like, if you want your weapons, you are more than welcome to have them, and you can be on your way from here. But if you want first of all, that it would be 5 against 2 if she's not going. If you want my people to take you to the hilltop as promised, you're not getting your weapons.
Right.
It makes sense. So it's like at some point you either have to just trust or get away.
Or just go.
wouldn't trust if someone was like, you're going here and that's your only option,
Yeah.
or we kill you.
Right.
No, that doesn't sound great. But they've done it before, so I guess it's just part of it. They either have to trust or GTFO.
Or GTFO. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it, and but that just would have been like a reservation of mine. But I would have went.
Sure.
I would have went anyway, because I'm like, what's better than being out here straight? Like, anything's better than that.
Exactly.
So then we see Michonne when she decides not to go, and so Sadiq is talking to her, right, about Carl's promise. So it's this feud between like this promise that she made Judith and this promise for Carl.
Yeah.
And so Michonne is torn with actually going with them to Hilltop, and
It makes sense.
it makes total sense.
But I kind of knew that she was never going to actually leave her people anyway. And that's why I wasn't surprised when they're sleeping in the barn or whatever it is at nighttime, and she walks up onto Luke and slashes his Stradivarius.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? I'm probably pronouncing it Stradivarius. Whatever, dear God. But I wasn't surprised when that happened, because I'm like, she's never gonna leave him and like go back all by herself.
Did you think she sliced his hand by accident?
Yeah, I thought she sliced his hand off.
Yeah, I thought
that's what it sounded like.
And
And then I'm like, crap, we're gonna have another handless guy.
I was like, oh my god. And then I was just like, the whole group is gonna turn on Michonne now. Like, they're not gonna trust her anymore. This is just gonna be terrible.
I'm happy that didn't happen.
Right, exactly. But then we see Daryl and Carol and Henry, they all pull up to Hilltop together, the first ones to arrive. And so Eugene is still missing.
Yeah.
Eugene is still missing. So we got some predictions
Where
for
is
that.
Eugene? I don't care. I frankly don't care where Eugene is, because
honestly,
I'm hella pissed. But
why are you pissed? So let us know.
I'm pissed because that's technically the reason why. I mean, Rick is gone because Andrew Lincoln needed to leave the show.
Right.
But Rick is gone because Eugene said that the herds were never going to merge.
Yeah.
So he thought that it was okay to go and lead the herd away. No, it wasn't.
No.
It was not okay. But so Eugene, whatever, I'm still mad at you. But I am a little, I guess I could say, confused. So when they see the flare in the air, it's obviously from Rosita, and they go find her, and she, of course is hurt.
Right.
But she seems so like out of it,
right?
Like
she
completely.
Did.
And the last we saw, or in last week's episode, was the two of them hiding, and then whatever happens after. But we know that she's running from this herd, aka the group of the Whisperers.
The Whisperers, yeah.
By the way, spoiler alert. Sound of spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
This isn't a full-on spoiler, because we've talked about it, and it's been a long time promoted by AMC and The Walking Dead. But a few people said in our comments last week that talking about the Whisperers was a spoiler. The Whisperers is a group from the comic books that they have been promoting coming about on the show. And that's how we know who they're being chased down by. It's not that the walkers are actually whispering.
Right.
It's that they are literally
they're
a group
humans.
of people. They are in the comic books, and that's what this whole, like, the rest of the season essentially is going to be about. But for anyone who didn't know that's why I wanted to give the spoiler noise, because someone said we spoiled it. I was like,
oh,
what?
wow.
Well,
Yeah,
AMC has been talking about it.
Yeah, it's the comic books. I mean, they dress up as wearing flesh. They're really committed too, wearing like zombie flesh, and to get past anyone.
And of course, not
smart.
everyone knows. Like, I don't know everything about the comic book, so I actually didn't know much about the Whisperers until I was reading about it from AMC and The Walking Dead. But they have been promoting it, let's say. But yeah, they are definitely not walkers in any sense of the word.
I'm not talking.
The
They haven't evolved that far yet.
Yes.
But who knows? Maybe.
Well, that's true.
And then we see, so Daryl did not stay long. They went out to go look for Eugene, and we're gonna see what happens. soon. But first, everyone, I'd like to get into our special segment.
Yes.
And our
Best
favorite kill.
Favorite kill.
Oh. So,
Ooh.
April, what was your favorite kill?
Oh gosh, I had one and then now I forgot.
Okay, well, while you're thinking about it, I can
do yours.
So my favorite kill, it wasn't like by any means like amazing or any gory or whatever, but Henry's kill. Just because it saved Daryl, and Daryl's my boy, and Henry finally, he stepped up a bit. That was the only time he didn't listen, and it was good.
Yeah.
Because he didn't listen to Daryl.
That's true.
So, thank you.
The only time it actually worked out. My favorite kill, and this will let us talk about the scene a little bit, was when Michonne and Take 5 and Sadiq and DJ, they get attacked by a herd.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be the same herd that attacked their rig.
Right.
And they know that because this man that they're talking about, I'm forgetting his name at the moment.
It's like Manny or Benny?
Benny, I think.
Benny.
In this paisley shirt, obviously they see that it's him. But my favorite kill is when Yumiko, bow and arrow homegirl, shoots the arrow and the little the little tin roof comes down and kills like 6 walkers. I like that because it showed us her skill. It showed us what she's good at.
Right.
And that scene also showed us that Magna is just like the type of BA that's going to pick up whatever. It doesn't matter if she doesn't have her weapon. She's going to,
she's going to make it work.
Get brick. She's going to do whatever she can. So, and we got to see slingshots, but I liked Yumiko's kill the best.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And then we saw Magna a little bit, like just her emotional side when you saw it. And Michonne killed him so nice. You saw how she was so gentle with it.
She's like, oh God.
She's like,
I was surprised she did that because normally when they kill one of their own, we see them fully like.
Yeah.
But she went behind them and she did it old school,
so
like
nice.
prison season.
Yeah.
Behind the neck,
like
right here.
Slowly put them down.
Yeah. I like that too.
All right, guys, we're going to get into some of our news and gossip that we have.
AfterBuzz TV.
Everyone to start us off.
Oh, yes. Y'all, we have a great piece of news and gossip. Boy, we have a couple, but we're going to start off with a post from the man himself, Norman Reedus, on Instagram, a.k.a. Big Bald Head. It's a clip from tonight's episode. The news and gossip part about it is that tonight's episode was directed by none other than Abraham, a.k.a. Michael Cudlitz. He directed tonight's episode, and everyone on Instagram and Twitter, everywhere was talking about how amazing he was and how great it was to have him back on set. Also, the other piece from tonight, of course, we got to see Daryl has a lovely pet named Dog. Guess what? That is his real life dog.
Oh, is it?
That is Daryl's dog.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is Norman Reedus' dog in real life, which is why he was so well trained and why, because obviously we know Norman Reedus is an avid motorcycle rider. He has, ride with Norman Reedus and everything. But that's why when he did the motorcycle and he revved up and he's like, and whistles, the dog came running because that's how he actually trains him in real life.
What is the dog's name though? Does it have a name?
He didn't say what it was in real life, but he said, and my dog got to be in the episode, so that was kind of cool. Oh yeah, well I thought you were gonna play it, but that's okay.
That's okay.
I was gonna say all that over it. It's just a clip from tonight's episode, and it was talking about how
such
amazing.
a good dog acting.
I know, right? It's like Air Bud 2.0. But basically, he was just shouting out Michael Cudlitz for directing.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
And Daryl also has a nice little boat, so we forgot about talking about that.
Yeah, he got a nice
episode.
little boat. Yeah, he's just got himself going over there.
Yeah.
Wild man.
Yay.
Then we have another piece of news and gossip. So we touched on Georgie's character. Mm-hmm. There she is. Georgie.
This is a spoiler alert.
Yes. Let's go ahead and do that spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, everyone. Just notifying you. You're okay.
He's doing our spoiler alert noise. That's why we were waiting, y'all.
That's it.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
So we talked a little bit about Georgie earlier, and in the comics, that photo that we just shown, Georgie looks a lot like the leader of the Commonwealth, and I'm blanking on her name. What is her name? Pamela.
Hold on, I got it. Pamela Hilton.
Pamela Hilton. Yes. So she resembles a lot. So a lot of fans are wondering, is this going to be the same person or not? Also, the twins that were like Georgie's ride or die, like, you know, are still sending letters and delivering a lot of things to Hilltop. So they might be in a little trade-off, and that is where Maggie is suspectedly.
Yes.
She's at Commonwealth.
Yes. And Commonwealth, we know in the comic books, is also, they are a group that is more advanced than anyone else. And we also know, spoiler alert, that they have a helicopter.
Helicopters.
And they're the only people that we know that have a helicopter. I thought the same thing, because clearly Georgie does look so much like the leader, Pamela, the leader of Commonwealth in the comic books. But would they have given her a different name?
I mean, possibly just to throw us off.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you know, Walking Dead has done that many times in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see, but I think that's where we're going. I don't know if they're going to, like, wait to bring the Commonwealth on the show until after.
Milton. Pamela Milton.
Sorry, there you go. Thank you.
So I was just like, oh, no, that's
You were
wrong.
thinking Hilltop, Hilton?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. But yeah, hopefully they bring them together. I mean, I would think that would be nice, Commonwealth and Whispers, like, on the episodes at the same time. A lot of stuff going on. Yeah. And Rick is ideally in the Commonwealth. I don't know. That's probably how they're stacking their people up.
He definitely left on a helicopter. So.
Right. He definitely left on a helicopter. So I'm looking. I can't wait. I want to see a lot more of a Commonwealth and Whispers and all that. But that being said, we're going to get into predictions.
Yes.
A lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff going on. What do you got going on for me?
So we only have one more episode.
Yes, before the
mid-season finale. As prediction-wise, you know, it's tough because there's so much dang stuff going on right now. But I'm just gonna go big picture and predict Henry is probably gonna go kaput at some point, because he's just gonna make a silly mistake, and Daryl's gonna take that very, very hard. I'm also, you know, we see tonight that Daryl has that same X on his back that Michonne does. I'm gonna say that whatever happened with that, clearly they were attacked in some way, whatever. It's not lost on me that it's also the exact same spot where Rick had his, fell through the pole. But not that that's connected. But I think whatever happened with that is for some reason connected to why Maggie was like, okay, let me go.
Right.
Because obviously they're not in the same place. You know, Michonne, Daryl were at Alexandria. Well, I guess Daryl's been in the woods, obviously. And Maggie was a Hilltop. But Michonne definitely did not seem like she was going to be happy to see Maggie. Yeah. And she did seem relieved to know that Maggie wasn't there. So for some reason, I just feel like they could be connected. Could be totally off the wall to everyone, but it is a prediction. Yeah, I mean, it's a great prediction. Oh, thanks. And lightning round for me, I think Eugene's dead. Really?
Yeah, I think he's dead. Or at least I wouldn't mind if he did.
Me too.
I think we're going to learn a lot more about Magna. Yeah. And just like her past and why she's so messed up. And I wrote down Henry's gonna die.
See, great minds
because
think alike.
I don't know. I don't see a bright future for him.
No.
And then we're Whispers. I think we're gonna see an attack from the Whispers because they're going to be, they follow Rosita. I think they follow Rosita.
We do see Eugene in the preview for next week, and he says this isn't a normal group of walkers. They're looking for me.
They're looking,
So
we're going
to see like the Whisperers next week. I think that's when we're really going to be.
And I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Me too.
But until then, thank you all for joining in. We had a great time here. Tell them where they can find you.
Y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant and on the How to Get Away with Murder After show.
And I'm your boy Danny Royce. You can find me everywhere at I am Danny Royce. Also tune in tomorrow and come cry with us on This Is Us After Show. Have a great week, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.